This video is showing how to solve algebraic fractions. Now, to do this, well, you've got to be able to solve equations to start with, but also those that just have a fraction with them to understand. So, for example, here I've got 2x plus 3 over 3 is 7. So you times by 3 on each side. So times 3 times 3. So it gives you 2x plus 3 is now 21. And then you're balancing your equation as you go. So you're minus 3 each side. So 2x is 18. And then to just get x, divide by 2. So x is 9. So you've got to be confident with that to do this, really. So first one we look at here. Okay, I've got 3 different examples of different ways you might see these. They're not the only ways they'll come about, but they're the ones I'm showing you for now. So here we've got x plus 2 over 4 equals x minus 3 over 3. Now, to start solving this, what you need to do is something called, well, cross multiplication. So what you're doing is you're cross multiplying that with that, okay, and this with this. So if you do that, you're going to get technically 3x plus 2 equals, because that's that times that, 4x minus 3. So if you expand your brackets out there, you'll have 3x plus 6 equals 4x minus 12. And then from here, it's an equation just with your unknown on each side. So you can then go about solving this. So if I move the x over, I have 6 equals x minus 12. Add 12 to each side, I get 18 is my x, or x equals 18. So, but the key thing is understanding you've got to do that cross multiplication at the start to start solving it. Okay, second example I want to show you here. So you've got some algebraic fractions there. You've got 2 as a denominator, 3 as a denominator, and it equals 2. So what you've got to do with these is you've got to make the denominators the same and add these fractions. So you've got to make the equivalent fractions. So for this one, you've got to times the denominators together. So I'm going to just do this on one line and say it's 6. And then you've got to do 3 multiplied by this x plus 1. So 3 bracket x plus 1 plus 2 bracket x minus 1. And that equals 2. So then from there, you can expand your brackets out. I'm actually going to do it just above them so we can see it. So it's 3x plus 3 plus 2x minus 2. And then if we tidy up the top, so we don't get a bit confused. So we tidy up our top there. We've got 3x plus 2x is 5x. And then 3 minus 2 is plus 1. All over 6 equals to 2. And then at that point, you can solve it just like that example from the top. So if I go through this quickly, that will become 5x plus 1 equals 12. And then 5x is 11. And then x equals 11 over 5. I'm just going to leave it as a fraction for these at the moment. Not going to go about turning them into improper fractions just yet. Oh, sorry, mixed numbers. Okay, final type of example is when it looks like this. So it's similar to the one before, but we've got our x plus 1, or x minus 3, x minus 2 on the bottom. So same thing, we've got to make the denominators equal. So that means we're going to multiply the denominators together, which is expanding brackets. So if we have that here, we're going to have x minus 3, x minus 2. I'm just going to leave it like this for the moment. I will expand it in a second. And then top of the bracket, so this side, the top of the fraction, you're going to have 4 times x minus 2, which I'll do 4x minus 8. And then you got this x minus 3 multiplied by, this is something you've got to be wary of, minus 3 in this case, because that's a minus there. So minus 3 times x minus 3x minus 3 times minus 3 gives you positive 9. All right, so we've got that there. Now what I'm going to do, tidy up the top, so we're left with x plus 1, and then the bottom, I'm going to expand that out for you, so it gives me x squared minus 5x plus 6, and that all equals 1. Okay, so focusing on this part now. Okay, so this part here, so I'll do that. Oh, sorry, move the camera over so you know what we've got. So that's the top simplified and that's the bottom expanded. So what you've got to do is times this over to there. So you'll have x plus 1 equals x squared minus 5x plus 6. And then at this point, what you need to do is get all your x's and your 1's all to one side so it equals 0. So if I do that, it'll give me x squared minus 6x plus 5 equals 0. Now here it's just about factorising, so you're factorising that x squared minus 6x plus 5. So putting it into 2 brackets, you can do that. I'm going to do it over to this side here now. That will give you x minus 5 and x minus 1 equals 0. So that means x equals 5 and x equals 1. So they are your solutions to this one. All right, so I've got 2 here at the bottom for you to give a go on. Do pause it, and then what I'll do is I'll just put the answers out for you to have a look. This one is cross multiplication, so I'm just going to do that quickly. So x equals 7. Okay, and then second one here. So what we've got to do there is we're going to make the denominators the same and then solve that one. And I'm just going to leave it as an improper fraction just to make my life easier. So that is solving algebraic fractions.